Okay, so in this video I would like to show you the basic commands you can apply when working with SDA deployment. In this case I'm using EVNG for this lab and for this demonstration. So as you can see here in this lab, I have my control plane node, my border node, and two Fabric Edge. I also have a virtual wireless controller. I'm working on this portion. I have two PCs. One is Linux that does not use .1x. For this specific Linux machine, using MAC authentication bypass. The Windows machine is using .1x, so it's using certificate or TLS for the authentication. And this part here is my access point, which is also using MAC authentication bypass. So I have a physical access point connected to my server, and then I create like a bird switch, and I then connect to my Fabric Edge 2, and then I was able to the access point to communicate with the wireless controller. I will show you that in a moment. Also, I have my DNA center, which now Cisco changed the name to Catalyst Center, my ISEv, and also my Windows Server 2019, which is my DNS, my DHCP, and also my CA. So let me show you first the DNA center. So you can see that I create my fabric. So let's go here, let's log in. Let me log in here. So let's see what we have here. Okay, so if you go to inventory, you will see that I have all my devices here. I discovered my wireless controller, my fabric. This is my Fabric H2. This is my control plane, my border node, the H1. If I move to provision, you will see that the provisioning was pushed successfully. Then here in my fabric sites, I have two fabric sites. In this case, let me point first to the main one. And here you will see that I have my control plane, my border node. Also my border node is going to be my RP for multicast traffic. It's a test that I would like to do, but I'm still working on it. And I have my two Fabric Edge devices plus my wireless controller, and my border is for provide also the external connectivity to internet and other services, right? When you deploy, for example, guests, you have two options to deploy guests. You might have a specific BRF, and that is isolated for your corporate traffic, but there is also the option to create like a border for that specific guest traffic. And that's what I was trying to do here, create a specific border node and control plane node that is going to be a dedicated device for guest traffic. But I'm still working on that portion also. So let me show you quickly here. I mean, it's what I said before. This is my fabric. Let's go to the devices here. For example, this is my H device. So probably the first thing that you can do is check if you have the Lisp sessions up. So you can apply show list sessions, and you will see that I have my session with the control plane 234, which is, if I go to my lab, is this one. And let me open here. Let me log in. So if I check the IP, show IP, interface brief, exclude unassign it, you will see that is the 234. That's basically the control plane that is using this edge device for the list sessions. But also I have this, which is basically for my guest traffic. So you can check your BRF, for example, to see that you have the corporate and you have the guest BRF, right? So now what is the difference here? What I said, that when I say that you have a dedicated control plane, you will see that this specific guest BRF is not in this control plane. I will say in the local control plane. It's only the corporate and the global routing table that you use for infra or for access point, right? But this guest is going to communicate, or this traffic is going to communicate directly with the border node that is probably in your DMC, right? So let me show you here that portion. If you see here, I have my guest, right? So that basically means the guest traffic is going to be encapsulated in VXLAN to this specific border node, and then the border control node is going to send the traffic to internet, which is basically what you want for guest users. You don't really want the guest users to access the corporate services, right? I'm still working on that portion. Hopefully it works. For now, let's focus to the, I will say, the local side or the internal fabric, which is basically here in my DC50. So that's one of the things that you can do, right? Check the VRF, so you will see, let me close this one and let me move to the fabric H1. So you see the corporate VRF, you see the instance, for example, 4099, and the VLANs that are part of this specific instance or for this specific corporate VRF. Now, in this case, I'm using, as I mentioned before, .1x, so close authentication. That means it's going to apply .1x, so it's going to apply some specific templates to those specific ports. So that means the port or the access port need to go through the process of authentication, right? In this case, I have my Windows machine. This Windows machine is part of the Active Directory. And what I have here, let me show you the policy here. I'm gonna log in here. Okay. Okay, so let me go to the work center policy set. So you can see here that I have for wired and wireless. This basically is going to match what I tried to accomplish here. First, the machine needs to be part of the Active Directory, right? That's the first, I will say that's the first policy, and it's going to push a DACL and the VLAN, and that specific DACL will allow some specific traffic only to the DHCP, ISE, DNS, and I don't remember all the list of ports that I allow, but the point is that you don't give the computer full access. The full access is going to happen after once the PC basically passes this first policy, then the second one, and the second one basically is once you enter the username that it should be part of the Active Directory, then I'm gonna provide the full access to that specific device, right? Let's start testing that first. Let me go to port 11. What I'm gonna do here, let me go here and let me open the logs so we can track what is happening here. I think we have here, this is was my access point, right? That is also using MAC authentication by path, so it can communicate with the wireless controller. But let me it's 111, so let's see, Conf interface, Gigabit Ethernet 1011, no shutdown, right? And let me open that specific PC. Okay. So basically here, what I expect to see is matching the first policy that is about the only checking if the PC is part of the domain. You can apply show authentication session interface and then Gigabit Ethernet 111 or the port that you are trying to double check if the authentication is working or not. Here, for example, you can see that .1x is running, and let's double check the logs here to see if we can see something here. Okay, I'm not getting the information about that PC. Let's try one more time here. Okay, so let's see what we have here. Okay, so this is not what I was expecting, but basically you can see the username, you can see the BRF, and you can see the VLAN and the SGT and the .1x authentication path, right? What I say that I was not expecting that because I haven't really entered the password for this specific user, right? My guess is that I was trying before this, and that's the ISEv has a record that this PC was part of the domain, and you see here that even I have the IP. But basically, if I go back here, you will see the policy or the authorization policy that is matching, and let's double check that. What is pushing ISEv to that specific port? Let's wait here. I don't know what. Okay. Okay, so you can see here the authentication. What I would like to see here, and let's see if I can find this machine. This part, you can see lookup machine in Active Directory. And you see ISEv has confirmed previous successful machine. So that means that's the reason why it was able to move to the second policy and then push the VLAN and the name, which is corp. And that specific VLAN is matching what I have in this specific switch. I defined that during the part of it's not the host onboarding, but when you apply the segments to that specific BRF, I define the VLAN. So let me show you the VLAN here. I have the corp, and let's confirm if I have access. So let me ping 192.1.255. 100 is a Linux machine that I have in the data center. That file is what is that file? I think it's a DNA center. Let's double check. Yeah, that file is DNA center. No, 6 is ISEv. Okay, so I have communication to the rest of the network. Next, let's try to something that I would like to do here, and it's something that you can apply, is when you are troubleshooting, so you now are able to capture the traffic. And that's what I would like to show you here. So let me see if I can log in here. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I have a port channel that is pointing to my border node. So I have ISIS and it's a layer 3 and it's the port channel is 68. So I'm gonna create a capture here, monitor capture. I'm gonna call tag, probably tag asks you to capture the traffic. Remember that a lot of the traffic when you are using SDA is pointed to the control plane. In this case, I'm going to use control plane, both the interface and the port channel, in this case 60A, go in both directions, and the buffer size is going to be 100. And then I can start monitor, capture, tag, and then you can start this capture, right? And let's move to the second PC, right? So we can have full picture about how this work. Let me see, it's 103. So let me see what I have here. 103. Let me enable this interface. Okay, and let's see, as I mentioned, this specific Linux machine is not part of the domain, so I'm not using the TLS for authentication, but anyway, I create a specific profile for this Linux machine, so it's going to match my policy and it's going to push the right VLAN and the right BRF. Not the right BRF, it's only the VLAN, and then the switch will know that it's part of the specific BRF. So show authentication session interface gigabit Ethernet 03. Let's see. Okay, so it's not doing the stuff. Let me open the, okay, let's go first to ISE here. Let me refresh this portion and let me go open this. Hopefully I don't have any static route here, because I was doing some testing before. Okay. So I don't have network connectivity. Let's try to connect. We can 24. Let's see if we can check that MAC address here. Okay, it's not here. Let's go here. Let's try one more time. Okay, now it's running one more time. It's doing the .1x portion, then it's going to move to MAC authentication bypass. And let's see here, it says that it passed the authentication. So you can see here, this is, let's see, I have the VLAN here. I have the DACO that I applied. I guess I applied to that specific policy, and the SGT, and the authentication was passed. I don't have the IP yet. Let's see, because sometimes it takes some. Let's double check the ACL. When you have a DACO, you can check the ACL here, and I have this ACL, which basically allow all the traffic. So let's go to the policy, the MAC address. Let's filter this so we can see only that specific MAC address. It match this policy or this authorization policy where MAC authentication bypass. Let's select this portion, and you will see that here I have the VLAN. That is also, and this is not the VLAN, this is the VLAN Corp, and also the DACO, right? Let's double check why it's not getting an IP, which also the capture will help you to identify problems, right? Like this, okay, I'm not getting an IP, why is that? Let's double check. Now PC has an IP. Let's double check here. Okay, I have the IP, the VLAN, the DACO, show IP interface brief. Let's see if that is VI. Now it's up. Okay, I have pretty much all the VLANs up. I'm not quite sure why. Show VLAN brief. Basically, there is only corporate and AP. Okay. And the rest of the VLANs are the rest of the port part of the voice VLAN. Okay, so let's double check if I can ping I can do a ping between devices. So this is my Linux machine, this is the Windows machine, and let's try to ping which IP I have here. IP config 51 ping 172.31.30.50. Yep. Right, let's see if that works. And you know what? It might not work because let's double check this, because it also something that you need to check is your Cisco TrustSec. I have all my SGT, my security group tags here, and what I'm not quite sure if I allow that traffic between these two endpoints, because even they are in the same VLAN, that's part of the micro segmentation that you can apply, right? You can basically deny these two endpoints if you want, or between the SGTs. So let's double check that information. Environmental data. Oh no, it's not this one. It's your CTS. Let me see if I remember these permissions. So no, basically, yeah, I'm allowing the traffic between these two SGTs. So I'm not quite sure why it's not working. Let me go here. 50. Okay. Okay, I think that the VLAN now is up. I'm allowing the traffic, so why is not? Okay, so now you can see that I'm able to ping this. That's something that happens when you are working with the Catalyst, the virtual one, the 9K virtual, is that you have like this latency only between endpoints that are in the same fabric. I don't think it's my lab. I think it's part of the Catalyst 9K, the virtual ones, that you might not be able to improve these times. But if you see here, now I'm able to ping. I cannot ping from this way because I think I have the firewall. Let's remove the firewall. How can I disable this? Turn off. Let's disable this and let's try. Yep. So after disable that, now I'm able to ping the Windows machine. So let's go to double check if everything is part of the Lisp database and the VXLAN is really working. So let me first stop the capture, also monitor capture tag stop. And what you can do here is you can double check the traffic, right? Show monitor capture, you can call the tag and then you put a buffer, and then you will be able to see the capture here live, and you can start troubleshooting in case something is wrong, and you can apply filters, and you can export this to your PC so you can open in Wireshark, and probably it will be more easy to identify problems. I don't know, but that's something that you can also do to identify traffic and basically troubleshooting. I'm going to Fabric H1. Let's go here. I will give us some commands. So SDA admin network. Come on. SDA admin. No, it's not possible. Let's try it here. I guess the first thing that you can do is check the MAC address. It's one way to identify if you learn something from that specific VLAN. If you can see here, when you see the CP learn, that means it's something that the switch learned from another fabric edge because they are part of the same segment. So that's something that you can apply. You can, another important command is show device tracking, right? And then you can apply the database, and here you will see the information about the DHCP that was assigned .50 to this specific port that is in this specific VLAN, and it's reachable. And you can move to the control plane, and here you can see the show list. Let's see the instance first, show Lisp, and here you will see 499. So you have show Lisp instance 4099 and site, for example, and here you will see all the endpoints 50, 51, and what is the rlog, and basically the rlog is the loopback of that specific switch. So if I apply the same here, SDA admin network, and show, as I made show MAC address is a good start. You see the CP learn that specific MAC address, show device tracking database also help you to check which IP 11 is reachable, and here you see that the .50 layer 2 is also part of the 1022. So basically those are some commands that you can apply to at least identify if the endpoint is part of the control plane, if you are able to see the DHCP, which IP has that specific endpoint, the MAC address to see CP learn, that means it's endpoint that is connected in another fabric edge, and there are more commands that you can apply, but at least for now that's what I would like to show you. And thanks for watching, and I will try to give you more commands, more information that you can apply when you are using SDA. Plus I'm working in the wireless controller, and let me show you this so you can double check this portion of the wireless controller. So show wireless fabric summary. Here you can see the different layer 2 VNIs, the infra, corporate, guest, corporate. Here you see the control plane. This is the local control plane, and this is what I mentioned at the beginning. This is only for guests. Let me log in that wireless controller so you can see what I have there so far. Okay, I have here also the access point. As I mentioned, I have one physical access point. There is not really a way to simulate that, so you need the physical equipment. Here, for example, here I have the WLANs, the wireless, the SSIDs, the authentication that I'm using. Everything is up, but I haven't really tested if it's working or not. Let's see what else. Fabric. Here you will see the same information that we saw before. This is the border, the control plane for guests, and this is the local one. And let's see if the access point. Here is my access point configuration. Okay, access point. Come on. Okay. And this is the access point that I have, 24.20. If I see what is my DNA center, I don't know what is that. Let me see. No. Oh yeah, it's here. Let me log in one more time so you can see that access point also was discovered by the DNA center once you discover the wireless controller. So okay, go to provisioning. Let's go to inventory here, and you will see access point 24.20, which is matching this access point, right? So yeah, that's what I have. Thanks for watching.